Welcome to the Tank Podcast. In this week's episode, John Mouse speaks on the contradictions of resistance, the violence of liberal institutions, and why music still imagines the age to come.
I mean, just to go back to some of your earlier work, you described it as anti-neoliberal. And that wasn't just within lyrical matters, that was a structural feature of the music that you were making. What would the end of neoliberalism look like to you? And do you think your music would still sound the same in this hypothetical post-neoliberal world?
No. I don't. I think. I mean, we've been in the neoliberal world since the Second World War, and I think the music we make is, on the one hand, it's part and parcel with it. You know what I mean? In all the ways Adorno outlined. But on the other hand, it doesn't stop there. By somehow being an exponent of the prevailing tendencies and their sworn enemy at the same time, you can open up some kind of space there. You know what I mean? There's no recipe on how to achieve it, but Du Bois had a lot of stuff about this, about determinant and all of that. The way I've kind of riffed on it is by sort of over-identifying with it, so sort of intensifying or trying to those aspects of it which set it apart from earlier epochs of music. But I think in any situation, the music is going to be part and parcel with the structures of power and stuff like that.
Tell me about this over-identification and how it manifests in your music.
First of all, bringing the media into the equation, you know what I mean, and trying to set that dimension in relief. So instead of tape, just recording a performance, it becomes an aspect of the performance, that sort of thing. A phonographic music, the possibility of that. I mean, somewhere in one of the essays, Adorno talks about that. He imagines some kind of possibility with the advent of the phonograph of making a strictly phonographic music. And of course, now we got tape and digital and all that. But, other people have teased this out, sort of the noise and the channels, highlighting those, you know what I mean? Bringing those the way they distort things and color things, trying to highlight that dimension. Then another field there would be in terms of the harmonic aspect. I think that's really one of the areas that sets this moment of music apart from certainly the most recent moments. 19th century romanticism, and then the gallant of the 18th century, and the Baroque of the 17th. They all kind of, the harmony was it was about this major minor tonality, the journey of the key, and all that sort of thing. And we just kind of chucked that. I mean, in the beginning of post-war pop, there's kind of the rough caricatures of that, but then it's just sort of abandoned at a certain point, and you have a guitarist and a bassist and a keyboardist and a vocalist, just kind of these diatonic melodies that move horizontally, and the harmony, the vertical correspondences between them is always kind of just, it's not like major minor tonality anymore. It's just sort of this modal space, similar in some ways to the early Renaissance and the medieval, except without any voice leading rules. So there's in there, and then the final one that Adorno really picks up on is there's no thematic integrity anymore. This was extremely important to him. He didn't think this music could think, and this was his biggest indictment of it. Any part is any section of the form is substitutable for any other section because there's no thematic integrity. There's no motive or theme that is being developed that links the whole to the part. so that, in his jargon, the individual, the part, the theme, the motive doesn't prove that the whole is untrue by being the quintessence of it or whatever. There's no sense of that anymore. So it's just sort of like these crude, banal fragments that come right after the other. So I guess those are the three of the ways that I'm kind of exploring what's singular about the music of now. Does that make any sense? Am I babbling?
Yeah.
I worry I babble too much.
You're not babbling, because that crude, I forget the exact phrasing that you just used, but crude, dissonant elements describes to me TikTok, which you have an account on.
Yeah. I started doing that. Hopefully it's clear I'm taking the piss a little bit there. You know what I mean? Should be. But yeah, I mean, this is just totally on top of us now, and it's just gathering in force, and there's no way out but through, is there? I mean, there's other things too, like there's other forms of destituents or whatever, like and I bring some of those in. I think in the essay on control societies, there's just an offhanded remark Deleuze makes about how maybe it could be that tactics from earlier, the societies of sovereignty, but even before discipline, the old tactics from those times will come to the fore. And so I'm thinking of like, these Benedictine monks that just totally, they don't have TikTok. They don't have, any of that. They're just chanting the hours. Their harmony is the liturgical harmony, the true, medieval, from the rising of the sun to the setting and the whole liturgical year and all that stuff. There's a way, in my mind where that's sort of a radical, something antagonistic to all of this,
I mean, this undercurrent of dread and eschatology, I feel like, has always manifested within your music. Has that feeling for you changed now that where collapse is no longer theoretical, where it feels material, it is visible, perhaps it's even personal?
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. Adorno and Benjamin are always, trying to bring to the front is this idea of the eschaton, of a future redemption, of viewing the whole situation and its untruth from a standpoint, beyond it, that isn't exhausted in the details of it, where all the suffering and the contradictions and all of that are somehow sublated. Every moment is the small door through which Messiah comes, like that sort of thing. As it becomes more molecular and more effective, the mechanisms, we have to try to bear witness to the outside even more, or something like that. You know what I mean? And we have to do it through this language. You know what I mean? I think it can be done, or I hope it can be done. I feel like it's, I've seen it done where, as relatively crude, and there can be sort of through the stupidity a kind of vertical opening or something.
Just harkening back on something you said earlier, if you think the future belongs to TikTok and the only way to get over it is through, is there any space within this sort of world of data protocols and algorithmic governance left for political will?
Yeah, I mean, they had the encampments here this summer, or at the beginning of it at least. People still appear out in the streets, but it doesn't seem to be adequate to the beast right now. It certainly doesn't seem, but I'm not sure it ever is. I mean, this moment is going to I think it's coming to its culmination. There'll be some sort of phase transition, and it'll probably involve disasters, and then the implementation ever more of the smart machines and the algorithms and all that sort of thing. And there'll be, as long as there's human beings, there'll be new forms of art and new forms of resistance. But, maybe I'm just getting, as the kids say, black-pilled in my old age, but I think that, my kind of cursory understanding and looking back is that the final consummation, never comes, and it won't, until the end of time. You know what I mean? In time, in the world, we're under the dominion of the archons, of the principalities and powers. We can under that, we can bear witness to the light. We can, and that's radical. But until it ends, we're always going to be, it's always going to be a disfigured and untrue world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until the end of time is now. It's coming this very moment. And you bear witness to the trace of that. It's here it's present in mystery already.
Yeah.
The end of time. We're going to get, children are going to suffer, and the rest of it, the principalities and powers, the TikTok and the social media and all that's going to, continue to put its tentacles into our veins and blood cells. But you just got to, dissonance, right? You can scream as loud as you can. You know what I mean? Like, that's one way to do it, but yeah, art and politics and science and math and all, love, these things, there's truth there that is not, in my opinion, reducible to the state,
Let's talk a bit about the album. How was the production process for this one different to Screen Memories?
Yeah, I mean, I think I had my head on a little bit straighter for this one. I used to just kind of go crazy because I didn't think I could. I thought everything I was doing is shit and it wasn't good enough, and I was trying to push it to a new level. And I think I mean, to say an old worn out cliche, with this I wasn't trying to let the perfect be the enemy of the good enough. You know what I mean? Like, I just went down in my basement every day and worked in the day and then went to bed at night. It wasn't, I wasn't as, ripped up about it or something.
Are you still in Minnesota?
Yeah, I'm still in the Midwest. Yeah. I mean, nearby, basically, yeah.
So you've adopted more of a sort of workman-like process for this album.
Yeah. I'm more working. I'm more sober, deliberate. I'm not at the mercy of the muses or whatever. I'm just not as tormented about it. Like, I'm not trying. I just do the best I can.
Yeah. Where do you think that change in perspective?
I think it became because the old way of doing it it's not sustainable. It doesn't work. When it was the most important thing, that paradoxically was to its own detriment, maybe. You know what I mean? Something like that. When I was willing to do anything to try to come up with some musical idea, that ended up causing the musical ideas to come even less. You know what I mean? Like that. It was kind of that realization. I mean, to make it a little bit more philosophical or whatever, when I was like 25 or whatever, I really, the ethics that kind of I subscribe to is this Bedouin ethics, that fidelity to the truth, the truth of art, this sort of thing. That's the basis of ethics, So to the extent that something serves or gets in the way of that is whether if it's good or evil, But now, I feel like I've opened up that there might be, many truths, but there's the truth too, and you have to orient everything around, or at least I do, that perspective. You know what I mean?
You said in your press tour for Screw Memories that the reactionary wave in politics is a boil, so a symptom of a more powerful and insidious sort of.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously, right? It's obviously reactive, and then that gets into the horseshoe thing and all that. It's a reaction to the same forces. You know what I mean? That's what I think, at least. I mean, all that solid melts into air is right out of the manifesto. So I mean, that's what these reactionaries are screaming about. You know what I mean? At least it seems to me.
In the past, you seemed skeptical about policy having real power to disrupt underlying systems.
I mean, do you know that Lukács, The Destruction of Reason? We criticize the Sorrells, this sort of irrational, but isn't that also, could the same critique be made of Tikkun and the Invisible Committee and Negri and all these guys too, the post-Marxist Italian and French stuff? My takeaway from that is very much that you don't enter into the good cop, bad cop game, and you don't enter into the lesser of two evils game, that you appear in the streets. It's new forms of community, new forms of subjectivity, the event, you know what I mean? That's where politics takes place. It isn't at the ballot box, that sort of thing. But then at the same time, I've got lib friends that are like, come on, man, what's wrong with you? That's childish nonsense. This is real. This has real effects in real life. You have to be an adult and engage with the policy and the parliamentarianism and that sort of thing. But at least here in the States, I mean, the major difference, for example, in some sense, was the difference between, we're going to fund a genocide, but we're sad about it, and we reluctantly are doing it, versus, yes, we're very much want to fund the genocide because the Bible, or what, because they're our greatest ally, or so you're getting the same thing either way. So I don't know.
Yeah. Could you work towards a strategy of non-participation? Is that at all within your wheelhouse?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely in the wheelhouse of what the whole constituents thing, the whole Bartleby thing, the whole being able not to be able thing. This is a lot of different thinkers have been playing with this. I mean, but on the one hand, there's part of me now is like, is that just nonsense? I mean, what are they even talking about? You know what I mean? That the radical thing is to say I prefer not to. I mean, on the one hand, I get what they're trying to scratch out there, but on the other hand, maybe the libs are right. You know what I mean? I mean, what are we talking about? The non-participation. I mean, I get what they're saying, but on the other hand, maybe, the sort of, going back to the start, the sort of the positive feedback, the over-intensification, the amplifying the contradictions, and, trying to tease out the schizophrenia of the languages and of the mechanisms and all that sort of thing. That's the moment of subjectivity in politics and in art. The hacks, the freaking, all that sort of thing. The viruses in the network or whatever.
Yeah. I'm not using this point as a stick to beat you with, but I have to say it because you wrote it in your press release. You were present at the Capitol on January 6th, and that became a point. politically, culturally, personally. I'm not interested in a sort of gotcha moment, but I am interested in what did that moment mean to you? Because that day became a kind of symbolic Rorschach test. How do you think your presence was read or misread? Did you see that day as part of the same apocalyptic logic that your music has explored?
Yeah. I mean, we went down there and, I was with this filmmaker and we filmed people climbing up the walls. But yeah, I mean, at the moment, that's definitely how I saw it, was just kind of, as a matter of course, there's reaction versus, revolution. And so, of course, there's going to be reaction, just like there's, earlier in the summer, there'd been revolution, protest and bearing witness to the irreconcilable contradictions of the thing. So, yeah, I mean, I suppose that's how I read it. And then, how I was perceived in relation to it was, 99% of people just assume that I'm a Donald Trump supporter. So, that hasn't been fun, but I guess, whatever. What are you going to do? I guess just keep talking. And
you were reported to have donated to his campaign in 2020. Did that hold?
Yeah. I donated to, I did donate. I donated to the Dems. I got the
You did Andrew Yang and Bernie as well, didn't you?
Yes, Bernie. I did Bernie. And then, in the United States, the Democrats, conspired on Super Tuesday to make sure Bernie didn't get the nomination again, just like they have done in 2016. Every time I get the libs loop me into like we can do it through the residues of 18th century liberal institutions, that somehow those are going to help us, achieve our desired end. Those old, powdered wig, 18th century John Locke, Mill, frickin', institutions are still have power. That we can use them. I get kicked in the nuts again. So that's where I stand in relation to this thing. I mean, but it's a conversation. I mean, I'm not trying to caricature the lib perspective here. I'm saying, like that Lukács thing, like maybe the more radical options are blind alleys, and the libs are right, but at least where I'm coming from, it was the sort of post-Marxist stuff, you know what I mean? Like, which is very suspicious of those institutions, and believes that any sort of participation in them is complicity with the world as it stands, and perpetuation of the status quo, So that's where I was coming from in 2019. I got to get new material, man. It's just the same shit. Like I don't know. I'm trying to. I'm traveling all the time now, but I'm trying to backfill a lot of the medieval stuff. I think there might be some interesting stuff in there. Everything wasn't so confusing. Their metaphysics is really interesting. Then there's the whole French personalism and all that stuff. I haven't gotten into any of that, right? And then Gabriel Marcel and Mornier and all these guys. I'm doing music now, but it would be cool to sit down and kind of get into some of this, and then it would be great if I could have done that before all this promo, and I'd have new talking points instead of this fucking thing I was already saying in 2011. Like, no, there's truth and music, and I exercise fidelity to it, and I'm just. But yeah, no, and in the meantime, like you're saying, it's just doubled, and it's just doubling in force now in music. You don't even have to, the whole punk rock Gen X thing, like selling out was bad, and You know what I mean? Doing a Coca-Cola commercial was evil or something. Now it's just like, no, how many spots can you get and clicks, and you're cool if you are selling skin cream. You know what I mean? I don't have to be if you're a toothpaste girl or whatever. But maybe there is stuff. Maybe there is stuff happening there where the toothpaste girl is like uncanny and like like hyper pop or whatever this stuff is, like this is like the positive feedback, the over identification. Like the toothpaste girl is such an android that it somehow doubles back as a critique of do you know what I mean, of the whole toothpaste industry or whatever.
If your music is a warning, what is it warning us towards? Is there a politics on the other side of the catastrophe? Is there a music on the other side?
Yeah. I mean, on the other side, yeah, I think it'll be a music, it will be pure music. It will be, it will be beauty, that's, what do they say? Being, the transcendentals of being, like, it is beautiful. It's the same thing. So yeah, I mean, I think, all the great stuff, labors to bear witness to that, possibility, whether through dissonance, through showing how, by reminding us that we're under the dominion of these archons or the society of control or whatever. But on the other hand, maybe, through its and with pop at least, through the stupidity, some sort of zebra stripe that imagines, this the age to come. You know what I mean? It already present in mystery. You know what I mean? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
To hear more podcasts from Tank, you can subscribe on all major podcast platforms or follow us on SoundCloud. The theme music for this podcast is by Himera.